Hi there. Welcome to Pop On to Pop Off. 0 people watching so far. We're about 7 minutes or 8 minutes or so early if we were doing a regular worldwide ramblings, which we often do on Saturday nights. Basically, we've moved the time up to 9 o'clock East Coast time. And Wednesdays often 9 o'clock as well. But that doesn't mean we're locked into those times. Well, we've got a couple of people that have found us. Pop on to pop off. Don't want to say too much till we get a few more. So I'll wait for others to open the door and try not to be a bore. Can I find some allure? I mean, you can't purchase that at the Walmart, can you? I don't think so. I don't think they sell allure. But you can learn to leer at the Leering Center in Minneapolis. Yes. We will teach you all the techniques of being that creep in the tavern, for example, who looks at the women and leers. I never know what I'm going to say. It just comes out. Hello, M. Silva. How are you? Good evening. Pam Inslee is here. Good evening. From Montana. Is it cold there? We're talking, Pam said hi. Nice to have you from Montana. A lot of people like to go there and fish, but I don't think this time of the year. But there's some good fishing spots in some parts of Montana, I'm told. Michael Taylor is here. Good evening. Hi. Where are you from, Michael? We have a Belinda Taylor that comes on here quite a bit. Helen McDonald is here from Australia, where she will tell us that it's hot. It's been warm in Texas, hasn't it? You know who you are. My son was telling me 83 degrees the other day. Does that sound right? Well, if he said it, it's got to be true where he was. So they fluctuate incredibly in a state like Texas. You know, you can put your shorts on Monday and you need your long johns on Tuesday. Just the way it is. DIF. Diff. Not Biff, but Diff. Welcome. And 12 years ago, it was 30 below zero on this date. Where you live? Yeah? Holy moly. I can't imagine that. I've never experienced that. They say the guy who invented the term wind chill factor died at something like 94 years old this week. He was 94, but he looked like he was 85. Jeez, I don't know if they just invented that to do that joke or what, but yeah, the wind chill factor. Well, real temperature, we're at about 1 degrees right now. This is, I feel like I'm being cheated here at a time when I'm already vulnerable in the sense that I'm, dealing with things, but I'm calm and, I can't say I'm enjoying life, but I'm counting my blessings and I'm praying and what have you. And I feel good. I feel good for the most part, but we didn't go out today. It's brutal. Polka Sean had a appointment at the hospital at 8 o'clock in the morning. And can you imagine that? First of all, I would have never made an 8 o'clock appointment, but that's, he's a morning person. So it's a whole different thing for him. 31 watching right now, only 1 like though. So I better do better. I better do better, Tracy by the cufflinks. Where are you from, Tracy? Are you a female Tracy or a male Tracy? I've known both. I remember the colonoscopy I had before the one I just had, which was done at the doctor's office. I woke up and, the person who was waking me up from anesthesia, I looked at her name tag and it said, yes, I was looking at the name tag. right at the name tag. Her name was Tracy. And I said, she probably thought I was delusional at this point. I said, "Oh, yeah, Tracy by the Cufflinks." And she was like 30 years old. She'd never heard of that song. She was probably less than 30 years old. And I think I actually literally sang a little bit of Tracy by the Cufflinks to her. And I said, "You'd like the song. It's only 1 minute and 58 seconds." It was one of those songs that we used to play when I was doing radio to take us up to hit the top of the hour newscast when it would come in live. Had to do a thing called back timing, which they don't do much in radio anymore. But we did back in the day. Do I have to put on my glasses to read you? I think it'd be better because I'm in dim light. So excuse got my Jimmy Sturr hat on, the Jimmy Sturr band. Didn't realize this would be a hard thing, putting it on with a hat. I never feel like the hat looks right. Female in East Tennessee. Yeah, okay. Hi, Tracy. Is it okay there? Is it warmed up? Nancy, and in memoriam, Terry Whitmore is here. Wow, it's going fast. It's going fast. Hi, Jack. Bitter cold here tonight. That has been the experience of so many people. Worst winter in years on the East Coast. The snow that we got 2 weeks ago is still here in full force, and they still have not cleared many of the snowbanks on the roads. And we live on a fairly busy road. They have done a lot, but there's still more to do. And maybe by Wednesday, it'll be hitting 40, but going right back into the 20s at night. But I just want some relief for those poor feral animals. 3 of them are probably in the cat house on the back porch. We have a disc that we heat up in the microwave and then put it in there. And I guess they all try to get a piece of it when they're in there. But there's 3 more cats outside. Well, 2 more cats that are in the other hut across the way. So I feel so bad, and I'll heat that up again after 11 o'clock. But it's who's going to heat it up at 5:30 in the morning, Who's going to do that? That's a shift nobody wants, Rhonda, Wolf, Hijack, and others. The Others. I remember that with Nicole Kidman and those kids. I love that movie. Tom Cruise was executive producer. I think that might have been the last time he ever worked with Nicole. So looks like, well, I just see the word never. I can't make out the other thing to make sense, so I'm not going to try. Are you, this is probably our troll of the evening, are you a juggalo? Do you mean gigolo? Just a gigolo. Yeah, we're getting some. It's funny about the phone. Why does the phone garnish people we don't normally get? Sometimes I like having the new people, but can you apologize for your ancestors' crimes? Oh, one of those, huh? No, I definitely can't. Let's see here. Wonders of this world. Oh boy. Yeah, we're getting them tonight. I don't know why that is. It's because I'm on the phone. Bayou Girl. Hello, Jack and family. How are you? 42 watching, 9 likes. There you go. This is just a pop on to pop off. We won't be on too long. And I can, whatever. It just, there's something different about the phone. How are you, Bayou Girl? Doing all right? Good to have you with us. So it's 1 degree, and it's going to go into the minus category tonight. And it'll be cold tomorrow night and the next night. It's just a weird thing when it's last night it was in the 20s, like 24, 25 degrees at this time. And to know that as it gets closer to dawn, it's going to start going in the single digits and then go lower into the single digits. It's not the way it usually works, so things are backwards, so to speak. Let's see here. We're definitely getting new people. Any good advice for relationships in interreligion? Interreligion? Well, in Christianity, the scripture tells us do not be unequally yoked. Do not be unequally yoked. You can't make two belief systems work and have harmony. Christianity would be considered, I suppose, today more than ever, a narrow minded religion because you simply believe what the Bible says, that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father but through him. It doesn't mean no Jews are going to be in heaven and that he can't reach a Muslim's heart or what have you, or a Hindu's heart. It just means that there are things that we don't know about. He says, in my Father's house there are many mansions, and he certainly has ways that we don't know anything about. So why expound on them and why pretend that we do? You know, hi, Elaine Peterson. You're here. Welcome. Arkansas is clear of snow. Well, I better be, because Pastor Bob needs to have his service over in Benton, Arkansas. He said, I think on Wednesday, right, when we did our Wednesday live up in the studio, he said that there would be service at Household of Faith tomorrow. So there you go. It looks like we'll be okay then, right? Obviously, if it were ice and snow, he'd have to change his mind, but people fly in. I think a lot of people are holding back now because you can't find yourself in Benton, Arkansas in a motel, and they're not going to have service, and you're spending a whole bunch of money to come to Benton, Arkansas, fly into Little Rock and make your way to Benton. So it's going to be light attendance now until the weather gets better. People can't take that kind of a hit. They just can't take that kind of a hit. 59 watching right now. And welcome, welcome, welcome. Please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. That would be swell. We had 13 inches of snow this week. Snow melted now, though. Oh, see, we haven't had any melting. I mean, a little bit, enough to bring some heavy icicles down from the back, especially where the sun hits them. When it's like 25 degrees and the sun is hitting the sun, or the sin, was that a Freudian slip? The sin is hitting the icicles. That could be a good thing to stop your sin by freezing it. But thank God there were no cats under there, feral cats, because they were so heavy it would have killed one of them. It's like, you often wonder, sometimes you come out, and we've been feeding these cats since they were born in the summer. They were born into paradise, and now they're in the TV series Life Below Zero. And we beg them, as you have heard me say before. I realize I've said this before, new people though. You beg them to come in, and they get maybe a couple of inches in the door, and then they turn around and go back. And if they did come in and I shut the door, they'd freak out. So they're so close to being warm here, and they just can't do it. So I'm hoping the weather gets better in a hurry. Okay. 64 degrees in Littleton, Colorado. Yeah, you're another place that has wild swings in temperatures and weather conditions in general. Because you were telling me recently it was pretty cold. Global warming still got us too warm for this time of year. I believe that there's a slight increase in temperature in some areas, but everything Al Gore predicted, it turned out to be nonsense. I think we got a better chance of freezing to death. There's a book I refer to sometimes. I think I'm going to get a copy and read it, called Not by Fire, but by Ice. Ice. So I don't buy the global warming thing that, because of all of his predictions, things that would happen by 2016 with the ice caps, it all turned out to be nonsense. And thank goodness, thank God that we're not forced to buy electric vehicles at this point. I don't know what the laws are here in the state of New York. If they've eased up, I wouldn't be surprised that they're still going to try to force it. But there's no appetite for these electric vehicles. Oh, Teslas and things like that. People like them. If you're someone who's going to be doing long travel, you don't want to be on the highway in a traffic jam looking at your the amount of juice you have left and realize you're soon going to be stopped on the road. People don't want to be confined like that. So don't think it's going to happen. It will, but they're waiting for the baby boomers to die off, aren't you? Aren't you? You're waiting for the baby boomers to say ta-ta, na-na, hey-hey, kiss, and goodbye. 1969 by Steam. By Steam. One-hit wonder. But if you're going to have a one hit, why not make it a good one? You know what I mean? Elaine Peterson from Maine. Elaine from Maine. She's not really from Maine. Yeah, we got some new people like Dr. Spo. What are we talking? Oh, I thought, what are you talking about? Which would be derogatory. What are we talking about? It's just a pop on to pop off. I'm not doing a formal worldwide ramblings in the studio tonight upstairs on the other side because, baby, it's cold outside. Jack, baby, how are you, Elaine Peterson? I'm all right. I'm all right. Most of my exercise in the last couple of days has been, I think I know who's here by just looking at that orange notification. Just walking up and down the stairs at a fairly good clip because I'm certainly not going outside. I'm not going to get in the car and deal with the obnoxious temperatures and drive to the mall to do some mall walking. So it's a lot of up and down the stairs, yes, the phone, not good. Why do you say that, Hobdob Heather? I mean, it's not a full show, I got some teasers of what's rolling around in my medulla and cerebellum. I hope that my medulla and cerebellum are actually in good shape. I did have a brain scan that didn't indicate, that I was about to become one of these wild progressives or something that hates America. But take everything it's got, but hate it in the process, Let's see here. So should be warmer by Wednesday. Good evening. Good evening. Dr. Spo, you're reminding me of a limerick from a TV show that everybody always hears me talk about. Why don't I go one show and not mention that vintage TV show? I think there'll be people that'll be happy about that. So, Sandra Fair is here. Maybe the hippies were right about global cooling. Oh, they said that? Oh, okay. That's the one expression. Cool is the expression that was popular in 1966 and is popular in 2026. That number one with a bullet. Cool has survived, what is it, 5 decades or 6 decades? 6 decades, right? Isn't that interesting? Exactly, Jack, but I don't know what exactly is. See, you reacting to a point, and I have to now pick the point out of my scattered brain to know exactly what to what. Deborah McGinty, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you? Nice to have you aboard. Somebody hit the Cash App, and I don't see. I'm going to have to back up. Abbas? And I won't even try the last name. I've only got a GED. Hello, I'm joining your broadcast from... This is all new to me, so It could be made up, in which, I can be amused by that, but it could be a real place. I've certainly never heard from this place before. The Yuzon Yarki Village in Cars with a K, like that. Those people that want you to donate your car to them, is they spell it that way. What they don't tell you is they're an acidic organization, and the money will stay, I'm pretty sure, with the acidic community. They don't tell you that Cars for Kids, the last I heard, was run by acidics, and I'm not condemning acidics. I'm just saying that they're not going to be donating the money to St. Jude's. That would be my guess. Lane is smoking cannabis. Thank God for cannabis. Well, we learn something new about you every day, every show anyway, huh? Yeah. Well, not too much though, because it's really not good. And don't be ever driving a car, and don't be walking up and down stairs high. You take a fall, you could end up being a paraplegic. It's just the way it is. I still don't know who, but I think it's Hockey 92 would be my guess. And look at this. I'm not psychic. I'm not. I mean, I can tell you Dick Van Dyke is probably going to die in the next 5 years, but I'm not going to call that a prophecy, Thank you, Hockey 92. Isn't that very nice of you? 1999 on the thanks button. Did you still have to press ask first now to get to the thanks button? Is that the way it's working for you, or do you see a thanks button with a dollar sign, which is what I hope is there? Thank you, Hockey 92. I'm just relaxing in the recliner for this pop on to pop off for a Saturday night. What is it, the 7th of February? Every time I say that, I think of that Temptation song. It was the 3rd of September, a day I'll always remember, 'cause that was the day that my daddy died. Paul the Apostle. Well, that would be great, because that's one of my favorite. I can relate to Paul the Apostle, especially Romans 7. I kind of live in Romans 7, yet he was very hard on the Corinthians and the Ephesians and the Galatians. But in Romans 7, he admits that he's got his own struggles, and he said it other places too. Chief of sinners. Someone who met Jesus on the road to Damascus was the chief of sinners? I mean, was he referring to how he used to be? I don't know. But the what he talks about in Romans 7 is current active sin. So I think we have to throw him out of our conservative fellowship. We have to throw the Apostle Paul out. And John the Baptist, you ain't coming into this church looking like that, buddy. What do you eat, bugs or something, they said? No, you go on and put on some nice clothes. It doesn't have to be a tie, but you got to look, never stop this bathing in the lake stuff, So what do you say? In secret, one of these days I'm going to read something out loud and I'm going to regret it. In secret, I have over 44,000 home churches on earth. Now I started Christianity in homes. It will end there. It will end there. Well, you so far lead the list in unexpected comments. I shouldn't say that. Baby boomer. Yeah, that's what I am. A baby boomer. They're waiting for me to die off so they can totally destroy the country, Yeah. Some of the candidates and some of the people in the Congress that are already there. Don't get me started, so I won't, because it just causes division. There's a place for that. I can do a video that I'm telling you it's political, and so not to watch, because that's not your cup of tea. Or as they said in that 60s song, it's not my cup of meat. So be careful with that cannabis. What do you do, the gummies, or do you actually vape? That can hurt your lungs after a while for sure. But, if that's the way you relax and wind down, or you use it for pain issues, for medicinal purposes only, you can have a little bit to relax, but it's nothing I would ever get hooked on. Some things I can get hooked on, like pizza, and some things I can't. I'm glad I never got hooked on alcohol. Never did. So that's Yuzan. I have no idea where that is. If it's a real place, I don't know about it. Egg Nigma. I like that. Do you like cheese pizza? Well, of course. I mean, you got to have cheese on pizza. You can do without the sauce. You can have a white pizza. Then you put some daubs of ricotta cheese on there, on top of the mozzarella. Then you put some nice broccoli. You don't have to cook the broccoli. Um, the only cooking it's going to get is when you cook it in the oven. And you before you put it in the oven, you put some more mozzarella. Some stringy mozzarella. What am I trying to say? Shredded mozzarella on top of the broccoli, and you put it in there. That's good eating. There's a place called Calandria about 3 miles from here that I have been to many times, but not as much as I used to. That's for sure. And they make the best white slice with broccoli. You don't have to have broccoli, but delish. And you kind of feel that, you're getting some broccoli, and they didn't boil the hell out of it. If you're going to have broccoli that has changed colors, if your broccoli has changed colors, you might as well have had a bowl of ice cream. It's pointless. It's pointless. I love pizza. I've often said that on my gravestone, it will say, "Rest in pizza." I got that from the movie Fatso, which is in the 70s, probably before you were born, I don't know, with Dom DeLuise. And their weight loss group was called the Chubby Checkers. This was before Dom, D-O-M, as in Dominic. Dom was really fat. He wasn't, he should have done Fatso later in his career. He was just chunky there. But Chubby Checkers, they had to padlock the refrigerator and padlock the cabinets, the food cabinets. And then the Chubby Checkers would meet in his house, and they would start talking about their favorite foods and what have you, And he's Dom DeLuise's character playing Fatso said, "Yeah, I've got these chocolate-covered strawberries in the refrigerator, delicious Belgian chocolate." Before you know it, one of the guys is grabbing by the throat and said, "Get the key, get the key." I love that movie. I haven't seen that. They never play it either. I mean, it may be available on Prime Video or even Tubi. I've never looked for that. It's been many, many moons that I saw it. That was around the time I saw a very weird movie with the late Jill Clayburgh called Luna, which I think you can find on YouTube. It's a interesting movie. And that I saw it right at both movies I saw at the same theater on Hollywood Boulevard, close to being across the street from, at the time they called it Grauman's Chinese Theater. Now it's just Mann's Chinese Theater. At least the last time I was there, which was 1998, but I lived there for a year in 79 into 1980. Oh, the experiences of Hollywood. Some you will never, ever hear here. I was a young man looking to sin. What can I tell you? I was a young man looking to sin and maybe do some work in the movies. I did a little extra work. But the other thing, which I had already done a year or so in radio broadcasting, they weren't going to hire me to be on KRLA or KPOP or whatever it was. ABC was a talk station out there with game show hosts that you would recognize their names if you're of a certain age. Jeff Edwards, Wink Martindale, Gary Owens from Laugh-In, the announcer. He did 3 to 6, I remember. So I guess, I don't know when Laugh-In ended, because I would think being the 3 to 6 guy, it would conflict with the taping schedule of Laugh-In sometimes. I don't think many took Al Gore seriously. His own state didn't like him, yeah. But he still hasn't learned anything. He was booing as the Secretary of Energy. was giving a speech. He looked out in the audience, and there was Al Gore at Davos. At Davos. So again, thank you, Hockey 92, for hitting the thanks button, which is right down here. But any amount is fine, whether it be $1, $2, $3, or whatever. This is just a pop on to pop off, because I can't cast when you do the phone. You mean you're trying to fish during my program? You can't cast your rod? You can't cast. I mean, I know you're talking about broadcast, but what do you exactly do, Heather Feather? Because, you know, in the technical realm, I'm an infant. I'm an infant. I don't believe in global warming. I'm beginning not to believe in it either. And besides, God is in control. I don't believe in global warming, but with the recent heat waves, well, yeah, here in Australia now, I wonder, I can understand. See, it's only global warming is only for Australia, but hey, not in Sydney, right? We were looking at that, Karen and I. She went upstairs. She's tired. 77 degrees during the day in Sydney. So, boy, well, it's like the difference between New York and California. I don't know why I'm so astonished that you have that kind of a temperature swing, because we certainly do between, say, Miami, Florida, and the Hudson Valley of New York, you know. We're on the east end of Tennessee. Next week, we're going to be close to 60. See, we won't be that blessed. I would love it. And it's coming, but, you know, 57, 58 degrees. Yeah. Oh, it'll be wonderful, right? But you haven't had what we've had, right? It's 1 degree. It's literally 1 degree right now. And it's going to be like -4 tonight, -4 tonight. I think the wind has died down somewhat, because it was windy when I woke up this morning. And I said, I hope Karen's getting up early to take care of the cats and reheat that pad, but it didn't happen. I kind of drifted off to sleep once again, and I woke up at 10 a.m. and guess what I smelled? I smelled the coffee brewing. So I knew what that meant. Brad sometimes does coffee, but rarely, and I can tell the difference in Karen's high premium coffee, you know. Deborah says, Jack, I wouldn't stick my head out the door for $1 million here in Southeast PA, huh? Yeah, Southeast PA. People give me these directions, and I couldn't tell you where Southeast PA is. I know it's probably not anywhere near Milford and Matamoros and Dingman's Ferry, which I could get to in about 40, 45 minutes or less. Jack, you are brilliant. We don't need education. Well, it's got the word Mike in there, so I'm kind of giving you sometimes a broadcast education. Yeah, the old GED. Here's Michael Hembry. Hi, how's Jack? I don't know. I guess I'm pretty good, Michael. I'm hoping for the best and praying for the best. Flo is here. Welcome, Flo. 177 WABC. Brenda Noyce is here. This is just a pop on to pop off, much shorter show, but we'll be here for a little bit. You are the most welcome, Jack. Thank you, Hockey 92. You're very, very, you know, you're part of the core that helps me make a very low budget. And we need a few more core people. You know, you lose people after a while. I'm really concerned about Vinny Maru from Las Vegas, because he came out publicly and said that he was dealing with cancer and that he was having issues and stuff like that. So I emailed him several times. Well, one time, he just hit the Cash App, which is lowercase letters, Media Guy 56. I'm not going to push this, but if I say that, I'm going to say, you know, this one time here, or 2 times, I guess, lowercase letters, Media Guy 56, if you happen to have Cash App. You don't have it in Australia, I know that. And he hit the Cash App for $100, but never really talked that night, you know. I just saw it there, and that was about 2 weeks ago, and I have not heard from him since. I thanked him then. I wrote to him and gave him an update about what's going on with me, and have not heard back. So I'm really worried about Vinny, and not because he was one of my top tippers, because it's just a tip jar. Not because he was one of my top tippers, but because we kind of bonded, and I thought that if I could ever get to Las Vegas with Karen, that it would be wonderful to have dinner with Vinny. Haven't been to Vegas since '98. The same time we went to California, we then went down to Las Vegas. But as I've said, I lived in California after a number of trips before that that lasted anywhere from 8 days to 5 weeks. I lived there for a year to finally get it out of my system, and I did. That was enough. We enjoyed going back in '98. Well, there's 50 here on a pop on to pop off. 20 likes, 20 likes. And hope you're doing okay, Miss Brenda. You seemed low on enthusiasm tonight. I thought I was doing pretty good, but I'm not going to sing those copyrighted lyrics because I'm just going to get myself into trouble. I'm relaxed. I'm not laxed, but I'm relaxed. And, are you feeling all right? Well, yeah. I got an appointment with, I think I might have said this on Wednesday night. I think I did. Yeah, see, I remember that. It's important. I got an appointment for March the 30th. So that's a long time away, to start the process of a few more tests and what have you, and what I should be doing. But I took a IQ test last night, and I never got my results because it's not to the, you get to the very end, they tell you to get your results. They need $1, just $1. But of course, they need your credit card for that. And I have no problem paying if I have confidence in an organization. I have no problem paying $5 or $10 for my IQ test to see how I did. They give you encouragement along the way, indicating that you're doing good. I felt that I certainly came in the realm of. It's funny, they kind of mention brain fog and early Alzheimer's in the beginning of the test, but never at the end. It's just an IQ test. So I couldn't bring myself to put that information in. So I didn't find out officially. But of course, they have my email, and I'll be hearing from them on a regular basis. It'll be like people reminding me that my car and my car warranty is about to run out. They're probably not wrong about that. Katina, I saw your email talking about vitamin E. I don't think you mind me mentioning that, right? And very interesting. That is one of those vitamins that you can pee out really quick. You can't hold on to vitamin E for long periods of time. Will it be okay to do very high doses of vitamin E? I'm going to research that. And does it go with Camzyos? I know it's not a direct conflict. It's in my multi, but it's not enough. So thank you for that. I'll look into vitamin E helps with early Alzheimer's and what have you, which is cousins with dementia, So anyway, I never have gotten any final answer. My Dr. Gapai, if he knew what I was talking about, he's 84 years old, so I wasn't sure, to be honest with you, that he was understanding me. I thought I'm going to have to give him the test that he prescribed for me at the blood lab, But he said I don't have it, but I'm still not confident that he understood. Because he started reading blood work he just read to me 2 days ago, and I was sitting across from him in the office. Doctor, I'm not here for that. I don't need to hear that I could get my triglycerides down a little more. I'm here for the test that came in the very next day after I saw you. And they just threw it up on the portal. It's a blessing and a curse all in one. all in one, but it was Karen that told me about the possibility. So we shall see. We shall see. What you don't want is the front lobe Alzheimer's. That's what Bruce Willis got. And you will go down faster than a fat man on a seesaw in terms of cognitive ability. He was nonverbal pretty quick after that. And if you look at some of the movies he did just before that, they obviously knew he was struggling because even though he was, of course, the star of the movie, he had very few lines and it was not his best acting. He was adequate, but you knew something was up here, and he was taking movies that seemed like he just wanted to keep busy. So he was not too particular about what he was taking, whereas some actors will hold out for, something great because they've done a body of work and they've got more money than they'll ever need and more money for their family's family. Others just like to keep busy, or, the Nicolas Cage actors. And I just saw a little bit of what somebody wrote that, Jack, I'm still entitled. That's all I saw. I can't see those messages here. I can't leave this screen and the computer's off and I don't know the password. Believe that? She doesn't give me the password. What kind of trust is that? So I'll see that after the broadcast. After the lovin', I'm still in love with you. I gotta perk it up here because Rhonda Wolf says I'm too flat. I'm almost as flat as Twiggy. Oh dear, the DJ comes out of me. How's the weather? It's awful, Michael. It's gosh darn awful. 1 degree, and they're going to be -4. And the snow that came 2 weeks ago is still out there. Now we're going to warm up into the 40s, or at least 40 degrees by Wednesday, but it'll still be in the 20s at night. But that'll feel better than this. It's just the heating bills have been outrageous. They've been outrageous. If you take what the bill was, and there's 2 separate units here, we use both of them. The heating bill has quadrupled from July, August. The problem is not air conditioning. That's not too expensive, but heat and hot water and all that, and it's horrendous. So, it's the way it is. I mean, I'm just thankful that it's not January 2nd and that it's, was it the 7th of February? I don't have my calendar access. And it's getting lighter now, longer, and that's good news. That's good news. Before you know it, we'll be in Wilkes-Barre for the polka show with Jimmy Sturr on the 11th of April. Is that what I said? April. And some of you Pennsylvania people will be coming in to surprise us, 25 at the door. Something like that. 2 to 5 p.m. East Coast time, but you know that already. Let me go down further here. Sabrina. I just saw Sabrina on The Dark Shadows. She's in the storyline heavy right now. It's the part of the dark. I said I wouldn't mention it. We're in the 900s going towards episode 1000, where most of the cast has left and gone up to Tarrytown, New York, where we've been many times, to Lyndhurst Mansion to film House of Dark Shadows. So a few of them rush back and they do a couple of episodes and they go back. But Barnabas Collins, ain't no way. He's gone for 8 solid weeks during this period, because they show his coffin with him chained in it. Just, you don't see him, but the chain coffin, because he's the star of the movie and he can't get back. So for 8 weeks, there's no Barnabas Collins, so it's all the B-level players and David Selby, who just turned 85 a few days ago. And he'll be at the the last Dark Shadows reunion, the 60th reunion in Burbank, California, July 31st through August 2nd. We would love to go to that, but it's impossible. It's impossible. It is, as far as I can see. The whole shebang would, cost more than we can afford. So there is that. And it's the last one. They're still booking people, but you never know who's actually going to show up because they're older people. Little David is my age, just a little younger. He's the same age, 69, but I'll turn 70 long before David will. And somebody else here the other night was saying were going to turn 69. So you're in the 69 club now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I won't make a joke about that this time. Let's see here. Did I miss anybody? I'm backing up. So I perked up at all there, Robin Wolf? Tracy Shetley is talking to Brenda. I love snow. One good one, and I'm ready to go. Well, we'll give you all we got, Tracy. I do not. I mean, oh yeah, a little bit of Christmas time. It's fine. It's pretty. There is a calming to snow and what have you. But after that, no. I want the sunshine. I mean, they had snow showers in Tampa this year. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Hi, Pam Donnelly, Nonstick Pam. How are you? We're just popping on to pop off. I'm in my recliner tonight with my Jimmy Stir hat on, which means I did not wash my hair. But I like to wear the hat anyway. I do. And oh my. Thinking of a Ringo song. Can you boogie? Can you fly? I don't know what it says, but I don't want to be singing anyway. Jack, I want to hug you. I want to know what love is. Everything. I think of a song. Is there a song that mentions hugs in it? There's got to be. I'm going through my mind of a catalog of songs. See, I could pull this one out. It's What Happened Yesterday. I might know about. We were in Karen, hate to say this, but we got some of the same issues because we sat here and during the commercial talked a little bit about the painter. I said, who was the famous painter? This comes later in the episodes, not Sam Evans. I got it. Not Sam Evans, but the famous painter, and neither of us could get the name. And we have seen the show. This is we're finishing up the fourth run this time, and neither one of us could spit out Charles Delaware Tate. Then finally she did. I don't think she looked it up either, but for a while we were both blank, and that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. Kid Rock halftime show. Bad Bunny blows, says William Munsey. And I will not watch Bad Bunny, even if I miss the Will Shat spot, which is going to air in its entirety tomorrow night. William Shatner is, of course, doing a commercial for Kellogg's Raisin Bran after being seen eating it in his car in standstill traffic, eating a bowl of cereal and then later saying it was Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Well, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. I bet you he'll be on the box pretty soon, He's the brand ambassador, Will Shat. It's too funny. I've seen part of it that they've released. But, we don't get TBN anymore. I think that might be on Hulu, and I ain't getting Hulu. Don't want anything to do with Hulu. That's Disney. Don't want anything to do with Disney. Diamond Dance Studio. Hi, Jack and everyone from Oz, another Australian. They got about 7 or 8 people that watch on a fairly regular basis from Australia. I guess it's because it's afternoon time where you guys are, and you're just, happy to have something to do because it's so hot out there, right? Unless you're in Sydney where it's not that hot, right? Where are you, Diamond? Diamond, are you a girl? Diamond girl, doo-doo. Or are you a man? Or do you have pronouns? I don't know. I'm just wondering. I'm wondering who wrote the Book of Law. It's the Holy Spirit wrote the Book of Law. Man just moved the pen, So, yeah, let me know what side you're on of Australia, the cool side or the hot, hot, hot. Ole, ole, Joe Worrell's here. Love that cap, Jack. Yeah, I had to pick this up being a Jimmy Sturr fan who I first saw at the fair in 1969 when he was in his 20s and I was 14. I said, wow, look at this guy. He really loves what he does. That stuck with me. Do what you love if you can. Sometimes I have, sometimes I haven't, but I stayed away from jobs that I would absolutely hate. I just couldn't stay in a job I absolutely hated. 19 years pretending to be a peace officer for the city of New York at Camp LaGuardia in Chester, New York, way outside the city. I had the benefit of working for the city, but not in it. um, Good people, work with good people, worked a midnight shift 17 of the 19 years. It wasn't that bad. And did a radio gig on the side and did lots of overtime at my peace officer job too. How many arrests did I make in 19 years? One is the loneliest number. Two can be as bad as one. It's the loneliest number since the number one. Yeah. Chuck Negron passed away from Three Dog Night, 83, or as the CBS newscaster called him, Chuck Negron. You might want to ask a few people about a pronunciation before you go live, would be that's how it used to be. Brenda's speaking in another language, and I don't know that language. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Jack, 30 miles south of Pittsburgh, huh? Oh, okay. Go Steelers next year. This is not right for Jimmy D. You don't know who Jimmy D is, but he made a lot of money in human waste. Yep, he was the cesspool, whatever you call it, the guy who would come and clean out your whatever it is. See, I don't know the name right now. You will see these things live. There's definitely some memory issues, but that seems to happen to a lot of people, and it doesn't necessarily mean what you think it does. So we'll see. I can't pull out that word. You popped on. Well, yeah, I guess you did, Brenda. And your birthday went great? Yeah? What made it special? Wexham. You're making up words now, Rhonda, which is proof that you too may have been to the wildwood weed. Too early to go to work. Haha. Do you still work? I'm trying to get your joke. I really am. But I don't know what WEXHM means. It's too many call letters to be a radio station. Yeah. I'll go with you, Jack. Come Go With Me by the Del Vikings, right? It's before my time, but I do remember that. I can tell you what color the milk truck was that came to my house in 1960 in Mechanicstown, New York. It was a Crowley milk truck, and I don't think they exist anymore. I don't know for sure, but they definitely don't make their eggnog like they used to. Jack, our weather is -2 now in Detroit, Michigan, Motor City. Yeah. And this is happening in a lot of different places. It's states like Texas and Colorado, for example, that have wild fluctuations, We don't usually have wild fluctuations. Well, here's the man, the puppet master himself. Neo Neon, good evening. Good evening. Who's going to Vegas? Sunday morning is just a few hours away, I see. You're a churchgoer. I don't know if I'm going to get out the door in -4. I can't say, but Wednesday will be Ash Wednesday, won't it? Should this come? I'm pretty sure it is. I'll be there. I'll be there. I go to both a Protestant and a Catholic church, which will drive at least one person here crazy, and I know who it is. I know who you are, but I don't know anything about you, John. How are you? John Fronman. Froneman? Elvis Presley did Vegas. Well, yeah, he sure did. A lot of Vegas stories. He had to rely heavily on Las Vegas because the Colonel had this massive gambling addiction, of course, and owed the hotel where Elvis was playing lots of dough. I guess he wasn't a good gambler, and he didn't have a passport. He didn't have a passport. So every time Elvis was playing Vegas, he was saying to the Colonel, "Why? Well, yeah, let's do Europe. Let's do Europe, and what have you." And he had a million different excuses. And finally, when they did the Aloha from Hawaii thing, he says, "See, I'm bringing the world to you. You don't have to go," and because he couldn't, well, he couldn't go, and that erupted. I guess that's a real story that Elvis exploded from the stage at Colonel Parker. You can see it in the movie. Tom Hanks playing Colonel Parker. I used to be a big fan of Tom Hanks till I realized that he thought I was a hardcore racist that didn't want to touch a black person's hand, and then he refused to apologize for that performance as the dumbass with the MAGA hat on, you know. So, well, goodbye, Tom. I wish I would have known before I spent all that money seeing your movies in the theater. They were great movies too. I wouldn't take that away from you. Elaine, put down the hash pipe. Put down the hash pipe now. You're only going to end up in the closet looking for the Oreo cookies. You know it. Are you staying warm? Well, down here I am. Upstairs I got to use the space heater a lot. And as I say, our utility bills have more than tripled, you know. More than tripled. It's a tough time for that. It's just too much. I told Karen to use her heater. I said, you promised you would. And see, because we have this gravity heat down there, and the vents that are open that's supposed to go up there, it doesn't, it's not adequate. You'd have to have the heat on 75, 78 degrees when it's this cold to feel a noticeable difference. So I said, you don't want to be freezing to death up there, you know. I'll be seeing her, you know. But I guess I'll go next door, because if I don't, I won't get the right sleep. And it's very important, you know, when you're dealing with brain and forgetfulness issues, that you get a full 8 hours of sleep, which I haven't really gotten in all those years on the overnights, broken up sleep, and then 25 years of Xanax. Not high dose, but nevertheless, it was starting to get up there a little bit. And I don't know what scam you're referring to, Rhonda, but you're in conversation probably with somebody else. If you're reacting to something I said, you got to say more than one word, because, you know, which of the many comments that I've said are you reacting to? So, yeah, that's just the way it is. And of course, that reminds me of that song. Love that song, too. Who did that song? Some things will never change. Yeah, I know you're a non-truster, Elaine. You've pretty much gotten that point across. So I suppose if you get a stage 4 or a stage 3 diagnosis, you'll do nothing about it, but you won't even have the test to know you got it. So, you know, okay. It says you are in the top 93%. Who are you talking to? Top 93% of what? 55 and 23. 55 people liking. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell. Look at this. We're popping on to pop off, but we happen to be doing it at a time when I usually would be doing worldwide ramblings with stuff to look at in front of the studio. I'm going to give you a synopsis of some of the things that are still rolling around my still active cerebellum and medulla upstairs here. So right there. We'll do that. And when I'm doing that, I won't be looking so much at the comments, B12 is good for memory. Okay, or a memoir if you should write one. Yeah, I've heard that. B12, B6, B1. I don't know. I can be one sometimes because I get kind of infantile in my DJ comments. All ages not under 17 have a great morning, everyone. All ages not under 17 have a great morning, everyone. I guess you don't like what comes after Z? If you were born after the Z generation, what's the next name? I think somebody told it to me once, but it didn't stick. I said, well, that's not very catchy. XYZ, you remember, baby boomers, millennials, you remember that. What's the new, if you're born today, what generation are you in? Joe Worrell, I'm sure you know this. That's right, Brenda had her birthday. We sang happy birthday to her. She's trying to get another one now, say. You're way over 17? Well, I don't know. Oh, yeah, she was just 17. And you know what I mean. What do you mean, Paul McCartney? What do you mean? What do you mean? You're not allowed to be attracted to 17-year-olds. And when you're 16, you're beautiful in your mind. Get ready for an orange jumpsuit, baby, unless you're in Alabama. Unless you're in Alabama, maybe Massachusetts, too. Can you spell that, Elaine? Can you? Jay Pogera is here for a pop-on when we usually have Worldwide Ramblings. Hi, Jay Pogera. Good to have you here. Carolyn Mullins joins us, too. I'm going to get a sip of water. Do I have a cough drop down here? That would be helpful. Bayou Girl wishing Brenna happy birthday. She's 65 years old. I remember that. I have no cough button here. I hear Willie Loomis coming. Willie? There you are, Willie. Hello, Willie. Come say hello to the audience. Willie Loomis, named after Barnabas's caretaker on Dark Shadows. Hi, Willie. Pourquoi? Come this way. Walk this way by the Aerosmith, Willie. No, huh? Not gonna do it. What do you want to be paid residuals or something? You don't know how fortunate you are that you're not one of those outside cats that refuses to come in. You were an outside cat when we found you at the Valero gas station. You're itching, huh? You got the fleas? Mommy's pretty good about putting fleas on you. I mean, not putting flea medicine. So, yeah. You see the little hummingbird? I've used that as a backdrop upstairs. Karen just loves it when I show these things. Her ex-husband is here. She loves me saying that. He'll be probably over tomorrow. I don't know how much of that. I don't mind the gentleman at all. I'm just saying just to sit here for that conversation. I don't know. Oh, you're coming now, but you're not going to give me an... Oh, I hit the mute. Stop scratching. There's a scratch pad over there, buddy. No, don't give me any excuses. You know that's not, the couch is not a scratch pad. For goodness sakes, I got the hippie shakes. I'm back. Hey, Carolyn. Sabrina, good to have you here. Carl R., are you a broadcaster? I was for many years, and since I've been on YouTube for 10 years, I think what I do would qualify here. I've got, what is it now, about 678, 7 or 8 videos now, and there's videos I've taken down, they're not all up. 670 something, I think. But yeah, I worked at about 4 broadcast stations. One was a Christian network playing contemporary Christian music, 14 stations when I left, only one when I got there, so I experienced a time of growth. Worked for cousin Bruce Morrow, who's an icon in radio right here in this very city. And Worked up in the Catskills and got my start near Buffalo, New York, in Fredonia. Fredonia. So yeah, I'm a 1974. I know I'm old. 1974 broadcast graduate of the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, the branch in Hartford, Connecticut. The Connecticut School of Broadcasting has successfully placed disc jockeys in radio stations. I blew the joke. I hate that I've done that before. They have successfully placed disc jockeys in Texaco stations all over the country. It's an Imus joke, and that's not the first time I blew that. Oh, Neon. So yeah. I used to rock and roll and Foreigner and Elton John and all those, and I miss that. But radio's dead, except in a few markets. We have a station up in Newburgh, New York, called Fox Oldies. Nothing to do with the Fox Broadcasting Network. And it's great oldies and great DJs on there still. A few great DJs are on there. And I love it. I have it on in the car. If I'm not listening to talk radio like Clay Travis and Buck Sexton or Sean Hannity saying the same thing, as he usually says, or Mark Levin if it happens to be after 6 o'clock. If I'm not listening to that and I'm in the car, I'm probably listening to Fox Oldies if I'm in the neighborhood here. They ruined the oldies station in New York a long time ago. It's garbage. Absolute garbage. I wish that weren't the case. Jack, I have recently been diagnosed with I'm not saying it right, but let's say frontemporal left lobe dementia, says Carolyn Mullins. Oh, Carolyn, very depressing. Prayers from my Jack Willard family, please. Well, that's a shocker, Carolyn. It's like when Vinny announced he had cancer, and there's been a few other times like this. So you have the Bruce Willis form of dementia / Alzheimer's, right? Yeah. I want you to email me and let's go back and forth in the email if we can, if you're up to it. Don't have to do it tonight. I'm just saying, my email, Jack the Fair Guy, FAIR, Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com, Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com. I'm curious of your age. You don't have to give it. I'm just curious. And what are they telling you? People say I repeat things twice, but I think I did that before. That means something on Dark Shadows. If you don't know who Dr. Lang is, you won't get it. So I really want to stay in touch with you, and I'm going to pray for you, Carolyn. And you want to look at those drugs that will hold things back. The K drug is one of those drugs that claims to be able to get the plaque off the brain, or at least help. But it's not for everybody, It's not for everybody. I said it again. Did it again. Oops, I did it again. So I'm curious as to what they're saying to you and what have you. I can't say I know exactly how you feel because mine is kind of still up in the air, and that's serious stuff. But I also know there's a God out there that he's the great physician, and I know Elaine will agree with that. He's the great physician, and he can put his healing hand on your head right now. I believe that. I'm not just saying it because it's the right thing to say now. He can put his healing hand on your head and change course. So everybody, I know we have prayer warriors here. Be praying for Carolyn Mullins. Yeah, 69, 70 is a popular age for it to happen. I guess Bruce was getting close to that. I don't know if I think I have your email, Carolyn, but I'm not positive. Sounds, I think I do. Neo's talking to Robin, reading Neo's comments cold. That's a radio term. Sometimes you had to do a commercial live and you realized you had never read it before and you had to read it cold on the air live. And, they're paying for this and they want you to be good. Other times you'd go into the studio after your DJ shift and you'd have a couple of hours of production to do where you'd be doing, various spots and you could do it as many takes as you wanted to. But I never used a razor blade to edit. Went back in the days of reel-to-reel tape with the white pencil. Now that I told myself I couldn't do it, and I was right. See, I was right. I know myself. When I tell myself I can't do it in my life, I didn't do it. It's called self-fulfilling prophecy. Self-fulfilling prophecy. So I'm going to have you in my heart, Carolyn. 57 watching, 25 likes. Neo, you crack me up. I think he is cracked up. See, we use the same word, but we use it in a different way. Lisa Renee, I know she's not here. Well, she didn't show you a picture, right? I've never seen one. Gloria Drummond is here. Gloria Harlow Drummond. Are you related to Jean Harlow? Are you? Why have I never said that before? Blessings, Jack and family. Blessings to you. Yes, yes, yes. You're working on a Perky set. Well, you're making me think of it. When you say Perky, I know Perky means I'm more lively now, but you make me think of Mike Perky. What was his song that he sang on the Trinity Broadcasting Network every single appearance? He was a pastor down somewhere in Texas, and he would come on and he would sing that song every time. Something about church. Church was in the title. Let's see. Here's Corey with an I. My son is Corey with a Y, but also a K. Hi, Jack. Hoonstra. How are you? Where you watching from, Corey? You're probably a female, Corey. I'm dollars to donuts. You are. And you'll say, no, my pronouns are they and them. Jackie O is also here from Australia. Hi, Jackie. Australian painter. You're Austrian. I got my specs on. I can still decipher. Austrian painter, really. You are, or you're talking about one? She's talking, of course, Jackie is talking to fellow Aussie, Helen McDonald. I was surprised to see it's so much cooler in Sydney than it is where you guys are. Hi there, I was having trouble with changing my email when signing in, kept putting up my business name, which is Will Schatt. Will Schatt debuts tomorrow on the Super Bowl commercials. See, I have no interest in football whatsoever. This is like Clay and Buck. Buck has no interest in football. I think that's right. And Clay, of course, adores it. So it's funny, because Clay can't conceive. Oh, here's a Ricola. Clay can't. Of course, I'm going to drop something when I do this with one hand. I'm like the one-armed man from The Fugitive. Anybody remember that? Of course, there's the movie, which was great. And there's the TV show, which was great. It's not going to be easy to open this. So look at my gray sweatshirt for a minute, will you? Of course, it's not going to open easily when I'm trying to do it fast. Okay. Did you enjoy my gray sweatshirt? I got my jammies on too. Yeah, I do. I took a WB this morning. Somebody's going to get what I'm saying. No, it's not that, Elaine. It's Will Schatt for Kellogg's Raisin Bran. But in the commercial, he keeps popping in and out of places, and he's with these ladies, and I said this already. And the one woman is holding a dog, and he looks at her and says, "Is that dog a Shih Tzu?" And she said, "Yeah." He says, "Perfect." And he snaps his fingers, and he's gone from that room. Will Schatt for Kellogg's Raisin Bran. He is the brand ambassador. The brand ambassador. It's an hilarious spot. You'll enjoy it, and you'll be seeing it after the Super Bowl, too. As soon as he mentioned he was eating Kellogg's Raisin Bran in the car, I mean, he didn't have to call them. They called him, of course. Excuse me, I have no cough button when I'm here. But there's still 51 hanging on. You just keep me hanging on, baby. Hugs Elaine. So are you related to Jean Harlow? Jackie. Oh, that's Jackie Organ. Yeah. Talking to fellow Aussie Diamond Dance Studio. Diamond Dance Studio is my business. Can you do the foxtrot? Can you teach the foxtrot? How about the tango? It takes two to tango, you know. You probably heard that before, Jackie. I was Jackie in the overnight for a while. Jackie Luther London. Don't ask me why. So let me go down further here. I might miss your comment because it's harder to keep up here. Star Trek. Yeah, that's the thing that we know him best from, although he's done so many things since then, of course. Remember T.J. Hooker? It's the amazing thing to me about William Shatner is he does Star Trek and ends up homeless in his car soon after that. Homeless in his car because he went through a terrible divorce and he got wiped out by a good lawyer. He was in a truck, actually. And he would sleep in the truck and he would shower at the truck stops. This happened for a little while before, somebody like him. We're talking about Captain Kirk here. He's going to get work, and he turned it all around, of course, and went on to one thing after another, and he's been busy ever since, and he's 94 years old now. He's very rich, and but that is amazing to me. Could you imagine being the cop who knocks on the window? Oh, what are they doing? Sleeping in their vehicle like that? I've seen them before, and it's William Shatner, huh? Why only one arrest? That's a good question because I'm the least peace officer you'll ever meet. I got the job. This goes back to my first marriage because my father-in-law knew somebody that was a superintendent there working for the city of New York, but not in the police, the DHS police, Department of Homeless Services police, but with the institutional aides and just running the shelter, and not my department. And he put in a good word with Captain Jones for me. And I had plenty of security jobs, Jay. I had plenty of security jobs. I mean, I had some of the most unusual security jobs, especially if you go into the time I was in California. I was on the set of the Village People movie, Can't Stop the Music, standing right next to this chap named Bruce Willis. Whatever happened to him? I don't know. I know he was a decathlon winner and all that, but I don't hear from him anymore. Bruce Willis. Didn't I see him on Fox News now that I think about it? One night I was in this soundstage with all these antique cars. What could I have done if they wanted to come in and take those cars? If they had, apparatus outside, I couldn't have, I'm not going to get killed. I'd say take them. What can I do? I didn't have a gun, and I'm not going to shoot anybody anywhere. I did not have a gun as a peace officer. I had a baton and cuffs, and that's it. They wouldn't even give us mace. So since I had all the security experience, I was a captain for a couple of companies and what have you, both on the East Coast and the West Coast. I didn't have a supervisory job on the West Coast. I had some real cool jobs, though. Met Bob Hope. I've told that story before. Met Shelley Winters. I've told that story before. This is just on the job. And I worked at a sweatshop. You know, when you first get there, where I came in from New York, and I walked into a security company that somebody told me they have a lot of movie sets and things like that. I thought it'd be really cool to do that. So I walked in there and I had all this experience, including being a post supervisor, post commander, and all that. And they looked at my resume and they said, "That's great. Oh, you've got a lot of experience. Come back in 6 months." I said, "Excuse me? I need a job. I need a job now." Well, this is what happens. You guys from New York come in here, and it's different than New York. We have a license here. You have a license now. We have in New York, but back then you didn't. And background and all that. We do all this process, and a month later you get homesick and you go back to New York. So if you're still here in 6 months, we'd love to hire you. Come back. But I had worked for Burn Security here on the East Coast. I walked in at 11 o'clock the next morning. By 6 p.m., I was at Color by Deluxe. They were having a strike and they needed extra guards. I was standing on the lot of Color by Deluxe. You've seen at the end of the movies, Color by Deluxe. And that was my first gig with Burn Security, and they kept me busy. They threw me into because I was a floater for a while, they threw me into a sweatshop in East Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles. Nobody spoke English except the owner, and he was so mad at the security company for some of the guards they had sent before me, he wouldn't even speak to me. So it was literally the people that worked there that were kind of, doing a Marcel, and trying to tell me what my basic responsibilities was there, and my basic responsibility was to watch them. Good times and great oldies. Fox 98.7 FM. Yeah, baby. Yeah, the guy from Three Doors Down passed away. That's what Karen said. I don't know the group. I know the song Three Doors Down. Yes, I've heard there was a group called Three Doors Down, but you got to understand, I stopped listening to music in 1988. 1988, I stopped. Beat me over there. Oh, Elaine. You're corny, or something that rhymes with it. Let's see here. So why only one arrest? Yeah, I'm a disc jockey, but I got this job, and they didn't say, how much of a cop are you? Are you good at physical activity? And there was only a 2-week training that was right up there at the camp. And you would go for the physical part of the training, no running around or anything. You would go down the hill to a warehouse where they kept the food and stuff, and we would use our batons and hit a wooden figure a few times, and not much else. Years later, we had to go down to New York City for recertification, and it was the worst 2 days of my life. There I was exposed as a cross between Gomer Pyle and what's another good one? Gomer Pyle and Barney Fife, maybe? What is the poem that Opie wrote? That he wrote it on the wall of the bank? There once was a cop named Fife. He had a gun and knife. I'm going to have to make up the first part because I can't remember exactly how it went. The gun had no bullets, and the knife was rusty because he never caught a crook in his life. So I was pathetic, you know. I couldn't, if I thought I might have to use cuffs, I was taking them out and opening them before I got to where I'd have to use them, because I tried slapping them onto somebody's wrist one time, and the guy yells in pain, so I did it wrong. The one arrest happened about 10 minutes to 8 in the morning. I was almost out of there. I was standing up. I didn't even have to be, I think the meal line was over. We watched over the meal line, the breakfast line. And, but it ended. And if I had just gotten out of the way, this guy comes over to me and he's got a little blood on his forehead. He said, "Officer, you see that guy over there? He hit me. I want him arrested." I thought, oh my God, I'm not going home. He'll be out of jail before I go home. I don't know how to do the forms. There's going to be an assisting officer who ended up doing the forms. And I didn't even put the cuffs on him to bring him down to police operations. The guy, he just came with me and I didn't even put the cuffs on him. So I got away with it for 19 years. They didn't want us making a lot of arrests, but some officers did it anyway. They'd arrest you for a couple of joints and then go home and smoke one, you know, stuff like that. I think I was valuable over there in other ways. I was on post where I was supposed to be. There were clients that respected me, knew I wasn't trying to make their life more miserable than being homeless. And if I had been attacked, I'm sure there are clients, that's what we call our homeless guys, clients, they would have jumped in and helped me. I know they would have. Good evening, Jack. Here's Homer Overcash under the name Eagle. Good evening, Jack and everyone. It's a pop on to pop off. But look, we've already been on almost an hour and a half. Isn't this amazing? Isn't this amazing? Please subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. If you can hit the thanks button for a few dollars, that would be very much appreciated. I can't see Cash App now, but I will see it later, and thank you later. If you have Cash App for any amount is great. And that's Media Guy, lowercase letters, Media Guy 56. The number is 56, Media Guy 56. So here's Logan Thorne. I think we need to check your hard drive. I'm on my phone. So what's the problem? Logan, who I do not know, and where are you watching from? Friend or foe? I have a guess. Up here, that hard drive. See, I got it. I may be slow, but I'm not Joe Biden. You know what I'm saying? Even in his prime. Well, he wasn't that slow. He was very conniving, wasn't he? Got 2 beach houses out of that deal. Our church is canceled due to weather, huh? So it's still bad in your part of Pennsylvania, which we will not disclose. You don't live in a model train, Homer, unless you lost a whole lot of weight. But you love model trains. Well, you got to talk to Andy. Oh, yeah. If you go to some of my early videos from 6 years ago, you will see Andy's model trains in the video. I did it in the same studio I usually work in now, but it was Andy's bedroom at the time. And his trains are right in back of me. Some of them. He's got many more. Weed, says Gloria. Well, it is a herb. You could make an argument that it was created by God, but I'm not, saying smoke a lot of pot. I'm not. Somebody's got pain issues and it helps. Someone told me once that it helped their vision a little bit. No, I'm sorry, asthma. It said it helped their asthma. Really? I thought because they were smoking. Back then there were no gummies like there are now. Hampton Convention Center, whatever that means. Virginia, says Dio. We have absolutely no heat up in my house, upstairs in my house. So do you have what they call gravity heat, where your registers are open and you get some heat from downstairs? Um, you don't have a space heater, Elaine? All the bills are up, all the prices are up from the utility companies. I should have figured out that Hampton Roads area, about 130 miles northeast, during conversation. Um, I think she means that she doesn't, I don't know. As I say, we have gravity heat. There are no heaters upstairs unless you bring an electric heater, of course. And when it's -4 degrees, I'm going to have my heat on tonight. And, you know, Wild for Jesus. Anything new from Gene Ho? No, I'm not the Gene Ho man. I think the other guy is, right? And that's the perfect segue into comments about what's rolling around in my head for future use. I'm not going to do the topic tonight, just to tease it a little bit, And there's a topic that has nothing to do with Bob Joyce, but I've been speaking about Bob now. We're going into year 7, the chronological storyteller. I'm still the only one. It's not a matter of taking this and throwing against the wall and seeing if it sticks. If you're into slick editing videos, well, they'll work for you for a while. But eventually, when people know that you don't really have that much substance, um, the views will go way down. The reviews will go way down. Don't think that you're a brand until you've earned it. You can't appoint yourself a brand. So there's no real reason to have merchandise. You have to be consistent. Put up mostly your own work, and when you do show someone else's work, show a fair use clip, not put up the whole thing. Don't get involved in being a spokesman for an organization that has to deal with your hottest topic, because people will think you to be biased. The only time Pastor Bob's name should be second in a title, is if Jesus is the first. Father God, Jesus, Holy Spirit is the first name. It would always be Pastor Bob first. And it's a game that's not going to work when you are you doing a commercial for something, or are you you gained fame through the Pastor Bob Joyce title, nothing else, and that's what people want. That's what they want. So I love Gene Ho. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a very talented broadcaster. I did a video. There's a channel here called We Love Gene Ho. We Love Gene Ho. It's not I Love Gene Ho. We Love Gene Ho, that took one of my videos talking about the subject, and that's like one of the only videos they have up. So you can see it. They renamed the title, but they put me in there, and I'm not going to worry about it, So you can still see the video where I speak more about the topic, where Gene Ho put up an open video to Pastor Bob Joyce. I wouldn't put up a video saying open video to Pastor Bob Joyce. I'm talking about myself. Open video to Gene Ho. Who the heck am I to do that? Who the heck am I? Did I suddenly turn into Joe Rogan and I don't know it? Come on. No. So, but I'm going to I'm going to remain pro Pastor Bob Joyce because I've seen the Holy Spirit working in his ministry. I've seen him working in the preaching that he does and the singing that he does. And as I say, we've talked about this before. Yeah, you go in private. Eventually, you bring a witness, and you can go to the elders of the church too. But open video, I don't know. I don't know about that. It's just so it hurts because people say, "Oh, look, see, I knew those Christians. All they do is a bunch of drama. All they do is play games. I ain't going. I didn't go last week. I didn't go for the last 20 years. I ain't going now." They use that, so I wouldn't do it that way. And you can't demand that a pastor agree with you if you present scenarios that you feel you've heard about gossiping against you and stuff. The pastor has an obligation to look into this and to take it to prayer, but you cannot demand that he feel exactly like you and do what you tell him to do. You cannot demand that. You can't do that. You can take it up elsewhere if you want, but I've never been to a church where there wasn't gossiping. I've never seen it. And they had said that the main person involved, someone named Rachel, who I do not know, doesn't even go to the church. So I don't know. I heard other things too, Please pray for a relative of mine. He has cancer. They stopped the treatment and gave him 4 months. I see. Which, when they say 4 months, it could be anything. It could be longer, it could be shorter. Oh, that's terrible. So keep that in prayer. So many young people getting stage 4 cancer, colon cancer and stuff like that, because they didn't think to get a colonoscopy. It's not like they said, I'm going to be pig-headed and not get one. So, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a video, pre-recorded video. And I want to do something on Candace because I looked into that a little bit more. Candace Owens, who is still public enemy #1 for Erica Kirk. Of course, they're having their halftime show tomorrow. It's on TBN. It's on some networks I've never heard of. Eventually, it'll end up, you can see it right here on YouTube, I would imagine. So let me go down further here. I hated fake school and fake friends. Let's see. We have the Possum radio station. They play classic country. That's my favorite. I love it too. I started my career in radio playing classic country, but some of the modern country, Dave and Sugar comes to mind, was starting to come in at that time. I had to leave that fake system known as school, huh? They teach BS, Bachelor Science. Is that what you're saying? Bachelor Science? Homer? Yes, Homer. But you are Homer. Still haven't got Eagle off and back to Homer. Back to Homer. We want that. Have 2 YouTube accounts, but it won't let me change it back. Jackie Blackie. All the girls on the Epstein Island knew what they were doing and did so willfully. It's funny that you mentioned that. Just want to get back down to the bottom here for a second. Wow, there's been so many comments. Okay, I saw the yellow. 3 severed heads hit the thanks button. My second favorite serial killer, Dexter's #1. I'll put you above Mr. Brooks, Kevin Costner's movie. The 3 severed heads, thank you, hits the thanks button for $10. You'll find it right down there. I don't know if you have to click on ask first or if it just says thanks. I don't know. I don't see that when I'm live, whether I'm here or in the studio. Fernando by ABBA, ABBA. Are you still aware that the corporate church age is over? The corporate church age is over. Well, tell that to Joe Osteen, Fernando. Tell that to Jesse Duplantis. Kenneth Copeland is so old now, and Jesse is not that much younger. Um, I don't, condemn all big houses of worship, if that's what you mean. It's a big subject. I've done videos, but people want me to speak about Pastor Bob Joyce, So when I do these videos separately and by themselves, they get 200-300 hits. Whereas I have one video with Pastor Bob that's almost 250,000. Another video that's about 130,000. Another one that's 74,000. And that's Wild New Bob Joyce video. Watch that one. It's got 2 roll-in videos. I am capable of doing roll-in video, but glitz and all that is not going to be enough if there's no substance from the mouth, And there's not always going to be something happening in the Bob Joyce story. There's not always going to be something. So thank you, 3 Severed Heads. Love your hat, Jack. Well, thank you. Yeah, hope to see Jimmy on the 11th of April in Wilkes-Barre at the casino, 2 to 5 p.m., with the Polka family also in attendance. It'll be a good show. It should be a 4-hour show, I'd say. So I do want to talk about Candace a little bit because I did some more studying on that, and it's just very interesting as more and more of the picture comes in. You can't be a Christian and not be pro-Israel. For goodness sakes, Jesus came to this earth, chose to come to this earth through the Virgin Mary as a Jew. He celebrated the Jewish customs. There's plenty of scripture, both in the Old and New, that tells us, excuse me, no cough button here, tells us to cherish Israel, to protect Israel. And obviously, Christians go every year to Israel, even though they know there could still be problems. And they walk down the Via Dolorosa, the footsteps of Jesus, and they openly weep. They go to the empty tomb. Israel is a very, very, very special place for Christians. And Christians, when they're talking about Israel, need to have a certain countenance and respect. And when I don't see that, I'm sorry, but I'm not interested in too much of what you have to say, because as I say, the second coming of Christ is foretold to be in Israel. I think it's more special than, say, Lebanon or, certainly the Muslim countries. So that's just a little bit of what I'll say on that. So if I repeat myself, I'm just giving you a tease because you're the family. Some of you are the regular family. Jumping up in for a bit. Yeah, I'm not going to be here much longer because we're already an hour and 45 minutes, and this is just a pop on. But Karen says, oh, you'll be on longer than you say you always are because you just lose track of time, and, you're having fun and, meeting nice people. And it seems when we do have someone that comes on, when I can't really get them off like I would if I were in the studio where I can't block them instantly, they're not here for long. 41 watching right now. So thank you for those who hit the thanks button. Anybody that hits the Cash App, I'll thank you on the next video because I can't see it right now. Good night, everyone. Prayers for everyone that needs it. God is able to do all things. Nothing is too hard for him. We ask for God to move in every situation. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. And don't forget her relative that has 4 months to live, according to the doctors. But the doctors can say one thing, and God has a whole different plan. And pray for Carolyn Mullins, who announced tonight that she has frontal lobe early dementia, early Alzheimer's. Deborah McGinty says amen. Good night, Katina. Matthew is here. Boyarski. I was convicted once for aggravated battery and got 3 years of probation. Am I legally allowed to own a 9mm in Texas? Well, my son lives in Texas. Ask him. I don't know. You would know the answer to that already, I'm sure. There's a difference between a felony and a misdemeanor, of course. So that is something that you can easily Google, and you'll find the answer to that. I can't Google when I'm on my phone either. It's a whole different world. Going to get ready for bed? Well, thank you, Gloria. Thank you very much, Gloria Harlow Drummond. Joe Biden isn't in office anymore, Jack. Why do you keep talking about him? See, this is the thing. You know, there'll always be one or two people that will not want any politics at all. Maybe you like Joe Biden. I don't know. I think that it's relevant, and I think that obviously who he picked as vice president is probably going to try to run again, but to no avail. But you're only making me talk about politics more. So when I do a political video, like I do another homage to Rush series, Robin, or something, just don't watch. You don't want to be aggravated, you know? You know how we never forget 9/11? We never forget, right? What happened on 9/11? Let's never forget what that disgusting excuse for a human being did to the United States of America. That's my feeling. That's my feeling. Worst president in my lifetime. And we are still feeling the effects of it today. There are women out there that were viciously raped and killed because he let them just waltz into the country. But in terms of people that come in legally, we love the immigrants and people that have been here for years and years. No felony or anything like that. They're productive citizens. I don't agree that we should throw them all out. I don't agree with that. Don't agree with that. I don't think that's what Jesus would do. I don't think that's what Jesus would do. But if you came in, you know, you waltzed in by invitation of him, he just did so much harm to so many people. We thought he was just, as Joe Kennedy said, who's the dumbest man in the Senate? This goes back years, of course. Oh, I guess that would have to be Joe. I guess that would have to be Joe. But he wasn't that dumb. No, he was... Look, 2 beach houses because of the money Hunter gave him when he was on the payroll in both the Ukraine and China. To me, that bears repeating sometimes. That bears repeating. I hate what ICE is doing, especially what happened to Hans Jobs. I don't know that case. I disagree with it, so I don't know. Sometimes they're just doing what they're told, you know, and sometimes the call is wrong. But if you're going to do nothing, I mean, look at the list and the crimes. They go down. They could go through thousands of names and what they did, and they deported them back to their country of origin. Do you mean to tell me that none of them should have left? None of them should have left? Murderers, rapists, etc., that would just leave it all alone? 20 million, 30 million, whatever people waltzed in during the Biden years, you're going to do nothing? You're going to do nothing? That doesn't make any sense to me. That's insane. That's insane. I agree with you, Sandra, but sometimes, you know, they make mistakes. And Trump said he learned from Minneapolis that a lighter touch sometimes is in order. And leave it to Neo to come up with a joke. Jack, I just know that there isn't any reason to keep that conversation alive. Let's try to be kind. Well, what you're really saying is don't talk about Trump either, right? Don't talk about Trump and don't talk about any politics, but we're living in a very unusual time. And they're going to try to make it so in the midterms, for example, that people that shouldn't be anywhere near Washington, D.C. get in. So we have to watch out for that. There's something about the topic Joe Biden that sticks in your craw. And, but I don't have to mention every show either. I'll take that part and say yes. But I don't think you probably want me to mention politics at all. And that's what I used to say. I'm going to do 3 minutes of politics or just talk amongst yourselves. So, it's one of those things. We witnessed something horrific for 4 years, and it still is something that comes to mind today. And anything that could have led to Kamala being the president of the United States, if you want that, then we're just on a totally different brain wave. A totally different brain wave, I hope I have a brain this time next year. I don't know. So that's our pop on to pop off, an hour and 50 minutes. Remember, pray for Carolyn Mullins. Pray for Vinny Maru. I have not heard from him. I'm going to email him again. And also Brenda Noyce. And Katina has a relative who was given 4 months to live. And they're on and on and on, So that's our pop on to pop off for this Saturday night. Be shooting, let's see. Thursday, Karen has her colonoscopy. That'll be the morning from hell. I'll probably sleep here in the recliner, because it'll be an early appointment. She's diabetic, so I'll figure out what day we're going to do the next. I have this bad habit of kind of setting a date without thinking about it thoroughly, but I can't wait to do the next one. So we'll do one as soon as the studio is not as cold as it is right now. So I love you, Robin Roman. I hope you're not mad. I know people get mad and just leave. Oh, one day I say, I haven't heard from Robin Roman. And they say, I know why. I know why. I don't want to talk about anything negative. Well, happy talk. No, it's got to be more than that. When your world is, in trouble, you are from America, right? I think, yeah. So I understand what you're saying. And, most of the time I do try to honor that because I see that trend here. And most of the time I'm willing to do that. I don't want to censor people if they bring it up. I don't want to do that unless it's, done in such a way that it's just way past the guidelines that YouTube has, So I don't have to do it every show, but I am feeling the call to do more videos, talk about the times that we live in and things that are happening. And there's other topics, of course, but I'm happy to talk about your favorite food, your favorite movies, your favorite TV shows, etc., etc. Enough of that. You're not going to change your opinion, so, Have a great night, Sabrina. Have a great night, says Sabrina. Thank you, Jack. Glad I caught the tail end by all. Good night, Jack, says Jackie. Good night to all of you, everybody. Well, good afternoon to you, and I hope you have a good Sunday night. Do you see the Super Bowl over there? It means nothing to me. Oh, we blipped out for a little bit. Good night, Neo. You travel to the beat of a different drummer, but so do I, to be honest. So do I. Love you all, whether you agree with me or not. And we'll talk to you real soon. Big God bless you. Bye-bye.